Um, very sort of relevant over here would be is that while the first couple of sessions are on the slides, it's a lot of real life experiences are woven into those discussions. So as we have interacted with our customers over the period of time, as ActivePrime has delivered a lot of projects, like what are those experiences and challenges that the customers have faced, and what are the benefits that they've reaped out of it? So that's going to be the first part of the things, and obviously the technology underlying Heroku, how it does that enable it, and how it sort of bolsters onto your existing Salesforce platform. Then we transition into a sort of a brief workshop where we ask you for your experiences, as in like what do you observe on your side when it comes to data quality challenges, if any. And just to make sure that you focus on the first area, because we'll be having or needing your input on this workshop that we have planned. And obviously then that's followed by a demo that we do for you. So looking forward for, again, sort of an interactive session for the next 45 minutes. And with that, I can hand it over to Jeff to get us going. Jeff, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Sajid. So I'm going to start off with a bit of, the cost of dirty data and why data quality matters. Now, a lot of this, or some of this, some of you are probably aware of and you've thought of, but what we've seen so far is we really bucket things into three pillars, if you will: accuracy, uniqueness, and completeness. From accuracy, we can see a lot of sales productivity recovery, just getting rid of inaccurate and junk data, making sure that any AI results or strategic projects that rely on data aren't skewed, having results that are skewed off one side or another, and just being able to find the right entity to do work with. So we've had customers that have told us they spend up to 20 minutes finding the right record to put stuff to or assign activities to or work with. So there's a lot of productivity recovery that you can have by just being able to find things quickly, being able to have the right information there and it be right. Uniqueness is obviously duplicate data is the biggest one that we see from a uniqueness perspective. Because as you all know, if you have extra records, it inflates your reports. It can skew your forecasts. It can skew your tear sheets, or in worst case, you have information spread across multiple records, which ties right back into accuracy issues. So this is where we see, 5 to 15% customer retention improvement. Campaign impact is a big thing here for making sure you go to the right person if you're looking at Marketing Cloud or anything like that. And then finally, on the completeness side, we see, revenue growth returns that we can get from that. If you've got missing data, you can't get a hold of somebody. I mean, they're a customer, they're a prospect. Something's missing. Let's find it. Is it ties back into, is there some junk data there? Is it in the wrong field so automations can't pick it up? So all of these together, we see that customers can get, up to 38 to 1 return on investment on putting in a data quality solution. And when you think about some of the projects that you might be doing, whether they're a strategic project, if it's Agentforce or Agentic or better reporting or looking at campaigns and so on, 40 to 80% of time is what the industry is saying on average is where people spend it on data preparation activities. Imagine if that number could be instead shifted from, hey, let's get ready to do the project, to actually doing the project. And that's the ultimate cost of dirty data. It's all of these things together really impact your ability to be effective and efficient with the data at hand and make the most use out of it. So this is where ActivePrime comes in. So we cover these three pillars with 7 different data dimensions. We're an AI-enabled data quality provider. Duplicates is the biggest dimension that we see, the main one that people look to first and foremost. However, a proper data quality solution like we provide goes beyond just deduplication. When I look at things like completeness and consistency, these other dimensions that I have over here, formatting is our next biggest common one that people look at to standardize data, put the right names into places and so on. If you think about making the records more complete, well, all of a sudden I can find duplicates better. I get higher confidence duplicates, which I can automatically merge. If I look at my accuracy and I get rid of the junk data and fix some of the incorrect data and try to correct the damaged data, again, okay, now I can find better duplicates. Now everything is coming together tighter. So this is what we provide, is this ability to look at data in a much more holistic pattern and improve it across the board, across 7 different dimensions. And one of the other very unique factors that we provide, which is I call it the ultimate control Z, is everything that is fixed through ActivePrime, whether it be merging a duplicate, fixing formatting issues, misplaced issues, whatever it might be, that's all tracked in a log. And it's a persistent audit log, so you can undo it even months later. So, you're not limited to a handful of days or having something extra, having to pay extra for this. It's just there. It's something that we provide to make sure that not only can you clean up your data across the 3 core pillars, but have that safety net. So this is what ActivePrime provides. Oh, wrong way. So when we think about how we work with Heroku, there's a lot of advantages with working with Heroku and ActivePrime together, because you're not alone in all this. We're all really here to help you make sure that the data quality is delivering what you need, what you want, and a part of that is some of these key points here. So it's, first of all, and what is really important to you, I think, is the seamless procurement. You can leverage your existing Salesforce contract and MSA. So what that means is that you can do things like tie it with your renewals and co-term things. You can take advantage of what you've got available in your overall bucket of services and solutions that you get from Salesforce. It makes it way easier for you to get on board. The implementation itself, we provide personalized guidance and proven methodologies and best practices. All that is included. So when you are ready to go forward with ActivePrime, we will walk you through every part of the setup. We'll walk you through getting all the rules set up. We'll work with you to understand what you're seeing and then adjust the rules as necessary. And this is a process that we help you with all the way through. And so there's no professional services fees. It's just included as part of it. And as I mentioned on the previous slide, it's a comprehensive AI-powered solution. The 7 dimensions, going beyond data duplication and understanding that all the dimensions all come together to give you a better data quality picture, is really what is unique to what Heroku and ActivePrime can offer. And then the scalable Heroku platform. This is actually a really important point. So because we're leveraging Heroku, it uses the Salesforce trust boundary, and it's scalable to clean up billions of records. Some of the things that we've seen with customers having literally millions of duplicates, we can scan and fix those and automatically fix those. And by going through Heroku, the data is secure, it's in that trust boundary, and on top of that, it doesn't impact your Salesforce performance. And so one of the big ways that's done is through Heroku Connect. And Heroku Connect is one of these unsung heroes of Heroku, really, in terms of that it allows you to protect your Salesforce being slowed down, as I mentioned, and it allows you to really take advantage of that trust boundary. And that's all through Heroku Connect and leveraging Heroku. This is a great way for certain industries, in fins and healthcare and so on, to be secure in their data quality without having to pull the data off of the Salesforce platform altogether in the ecosystem. This is a big one for you. And then the final one is strategic projects. People often think about, well, let's clean the data or AI and so on, but there are broader projects that are impacted. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier. We can look at the data, we can scan the results, see what's there, and then you can get started on the project. So instead of spending all the time on data prep, spend time working on the project. But also you can identify places where, I can start here because I can fix this subset of data, or I can see that this subset of data is could be targeted and focused on, so I can start there, and then I can my crawl, walk, run on the strategic project. I can do that because you know what the actual results are. You see what the facts are, so you know where to start. And so this is how we can help you get your strategic projects going. Just overall, we've done over 500 installs so far across multiple industries. And again, leveraging Heroku for some of things like financial services and health and public sector, where security is important. That is all covered there. So lots of experience across these industries. And ultimately, the way that our platform works is that it adapts to you. So you don't have to worry about saying, the standardized approach doesn't work for me. No problem. We work for you.
Awesome.
So, great. I was just going to say, Alfonso, you on? Back with your audio?
Yeah, I'm back. I had
Fantastic.
to log in on my personal phone. For some reason, I was stuck as a viewer. So we always say it's not a great webinar if we don't have at least one thing that goes wrong. So hey, everyone, I'm Alphonse. I work at Heroku covering our commercial technology business in North America. So very nice to meet you. So we're just going to go really quickly on kind of the why Heroku portion, explain a little bit of an elevator pitch on what Heroku is, and why we're leveraging Heroku and ActivePrime together. So you can go to the next slide, Jeff. So Heroku is essentially a force multiplier for developers. It's Salesforce's AI-ready platform as a service that abstracts away the complexity of app dev and hosting by allowing developers to focus on building value and not managing underlying infrastructure. ActivePrime essentially is leveraging the power of Heroku to clean your Salesforce data. So our customers and businesses are ultimately trying to build apps and agentic experiences. And in order to do this, we all know that data quality needs to be reliable and functional. As more and more industries are leaning into AI experiences and relying on automation to drive business outcomes, data quality has become even more relevant than before. I hear from my customers all the time that they would love to take on more transformational AI projects, whether that be Agentforce or Data Cloud, but they have concerns about their data quality. This is where Heroku and ActivePrime come in. Customers need a way to solve data quality issues quickly in order to take on these projects. Because we're delivering a fully managed solution on Heroku infrastructure, we are enabling our customers to fix data quality issues, which we'll go into a little bit more detail shortly in the demo, but we're not going to have to rely on manual deduplication processes or having to put that burden of labor on our administrators and RevOps teams when they should be focused on building innovative features for their own customers, internal or external. So the way we do this is we leverage the power of a product we call Heroku Connect. And Jeff, you can go to the next slide here. Heroku Connect is essentially, without going into too much detail on architecture, we're essentially taking your Salesforce database and creating a mirror of it in Heroku Postgres. The data is then cleaned by ActivePrime and pushed back to your Salesforce org in near real time, leveraging Heroku Connect's bidirectional syncing capabilities. It's an always-on cloud-based solution that lives within your Salesforce trust boundary. As we mentioned before, it could be co-termed with your current Salesforce contract. And it's a consumption-based solution that is priced based on the data volume of your org. So you don't have to take on the cost of seat-based licensing for data cleanup. And we can basically create custom plans depending on the quantity of data and which objects you want to clean within your Salesforce org, whether those be custom objects or standard objects. And yes, it does cover Sales Cloud, one of the main use cases. So there are some additional added benefits to not only cleaning the data in your Salesforce org. You will now have access to a structured Postgres database with clean Salesforce data that can be used for a variety of other use cases and projects. You can build integrated apps. You can bring the data back into Data Cloud using our free Postgres connector. You can build custom apps and experiences for your customers. And you can leverage this data to securely integrate with third-party applications and other public clouds like AWS, Azure, and GCP. So I'll pass it over to Jeff and we'll get on to our workshop and use cases.
Thanks, Alphonse. So I thought before we dove right into the workshop, I'd share just a few examples of some things that we've seen to understand kind of the impact of data quality. We've had a few customers now where they were trying to do some sort of an auto dialer or an SMS-based campaign or something like that. And what they ran into is the phone numbers were in every conceivable pattern you could imagine. Spaces, no spaces, dashes, periods, parentheses, not, with and without country codes, all that sort of mess. And we've had multiple customers that have talked to us like, hey, can you help us with this? Because I'm looking at a multi-week IT project in order to figure all this out. This is a simple formatting option. It's literally a toggle to say, adopt the E164 format. Done in seconds. Save them all sorts of IT effort. We have another customer, they were doing, they had this process where they had to do a manual ID, enter it from a spreadsheet for a variety of reasons. But what was happening is that they were getting this and it needed to be in a specific format. If it wasn't in that right particular pattern and it didn't have the right dashes in the right spot, it was breaking their downstream integration. So we were able to train the AI in about 10 minutes or so about what junk was, so they could now look at those records in particular and go ahead and fix them. So that saved them all sorts of issues and extra IT work later. And then from a duplicate perspective, we have got this customer that they have literally millions of duplicates, and it's because of how their e-commerce site works. Every time it comes back in, if there's any little difference with how their particular customer goes through the commerce site, it duplicates it. And it was making opportunity forecasting literally impossible because they knew it was not accurate by a significant margin. So millions and millions of duplicates that could be automatically merged, and they're automatically merging thousands of duplicates a day. So this is just some of the patterns that we've seen. And there's a lot more, there's some more examples later in the deck, but this is just some of the patterns that we've seen and how data quality impacts. So a really quick workshop, just a few minutes here to kind of underscore where we see being able to look at something yourself as a person versus leveraging an AI-enabled tool. So if I look at these two issues, or two examples rather, I've got one customer prediction from an AI for predicted deal size of about 125K, another one for 25K. And so one's wrong, one's right. Like, why the difference? It's the same model. Like, what's really split this up and caused it? So I thought I'd kind of go through here and explain some of the dimensions and with a bit of an example. So here's a very small data set. The question is, well, let's find the issues, because in this case for AI, those models are heavily impacted by data issues. So if you look at this really small set, you'll see things like duplicate data. In this case, the name is similar. There's a slightly different misspelling in the contact name. The company is missing a period. That little bit of fuzzy logic and understanding what companies are and what names are is a way to find those duplicates that can be automatically merged. We go into missing data. What we are looking for is data that is actually null or visually null. We have seen customers with integrations where it's concatenating values with the space in between. The database doesn't consider that null. There's a value there. There's a character, a space. We can see those and help get those flagged so that you're not skewing stuff. Formatting issues is, think about that dialer example that I gave. Let's standardize the data for not only numbers, but for names, for company names. Let's put the right legal name in there. Let's use the right short form or long form for addresses, or for things like manufacturing versus MFG. Do I want to standardize that? This is where formatting comes in, because now the models have more consistent data. Junk data. I'm sure none of you have ever seen a junk record within your Salesforce, but junk data is more than just a whole record. It can be for individual fields. Emails that are clearly junk, a phone number that's all zeros or all ones, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. I've seen all that sort of thing. And so we can flag that junk data and help you get rid of it from your system. Data that's misplaced, super common pattern. I don't know what it is about email addresses, but I find those in phone numbers all the time. We can automatically move those to the right field, and all of a sudden your accuracy goes up in your ability to reach out and contact these people using the right field or through automation is much more readily available. Damaged data, I'm sure some of you picked up on the diamond with the question mark in it right away, but how many of you caught the double dot here in the email field? This is the thing with a person looking at it. It's after a while, some of these subtleties in here, you just miss as a person, but the AI will catch it. And then, of course, we've got incorrect data. So in this case, this email address, it looks right. Global Dynamics, Global DYNM, sure, it looks right, but that's not actually the right deliverable domain. So it'll flag that as incorrect. Now, in this example, I highlighted a few things, but there are other issues in here that were not highlighted. And you may or may not have caught some of those. And that's the point. This is a very small set of a very few fields. And there are still things that can be easily missed by a person just looking at 10 records. Imagine you've got thousands or millions. And that's where having an AI model, an AI-powered data quality solution helps. So at this point, I'm going to jump into a quick demo. We've got 3 personas that we're going to touch on. So we'll start off with a sales representative, Sophia. Her main challenge is she spends too much time finding the right record and then having to fix the data. So she's hoping that can be cleaned up for her and automated more often. Marcus is, data steward and an admin. He's stretched thin, as some folks are, and he needs to be able to use his time quite effectively. So he's always asked about how to make Salesforce itself more effective, help solve challenges in other strategic projects that are leveraging Salesforce data, and be able to, streamline that and make that work better for everybody. And then Evan is the CIO. He really wants to leverage Salesforce as that centralized data source. Again, looking at IT resources effectively, and really wants to be able to find solutions that will give him, a solution to a particular challenge without having to require IT or custom dev at every turn. He doesn't want that technical debt. So with that, I'm going to jump into the demo here and show you how they kind of go through that in a day. So we're going to start off with Sophia, and she's going to start her day off, and she's got a new account that she wants to create. So she's picked up a new territory. She's going to start entering in first alarm here because that's a new record that our new account that she wants to deal with. And as we type in values, and let me just take this one out, it's going to force her to go through a search before create. So in her mind, she just hit new and started typing. So she's got a list of possible duplicates. And one of the things that we do here is she's being blocked from creating a duplicate because there is some that are 80% similarity. So this is saving her time. It's made sure that she's not entered a secondary record. But if you look at some of the results, we're matching on things that go beyond just straight fuzzy match. This is part of the AI, is that we understand what an account name is. We know that some people will say Inc., some will say Co., some will say LTD, some will say Limited. We can see past that and make sure that you're finding the possible duplicates and prevent them from being put into place. As you enter more information, she's able to get a much lower list, but now because she's below the threshold, she can go ahead and create this record. If she wanted to create it, for you, this is the standard Salesforce create screen. The information is passed in. She's not retyping. You don't have to worry about creating a new detail page. All the triggers and automations from here happen as they would. So for Sophia, this is very, very streamlined. She just hits new and starts typing. For you, it doesn't impact what else you've got going. Now, if she wanted to go ahead and use one of these duplicates, she is now able to go and look at that existing record, and she has the ability to either merge all the possible duplicate records for, in this case, first alarm, as well as solve the other data issues. So in this case, I'm looking at some of these data issues here. These are all right here in some missing data, some formatting items. All of these are available for her to fix. So she's glad that all the results are here, that she can merge this and fix this. But her question is, okay, this was a good match. I like what was being recommended here. Can I make this faster? So this is where Marcus comes in, and she asks Marcus, well, hey, can you help me with this? Can you make this faster for me? Because the results I'm getting, I like. So Marcus now, we're going to switch roles to Marcus. He is looking at clean data. This is the administrative view, our dashboard. It's a near real-time view of all the data issues across the entire org. So things like all the duplicate rules that are set up. And so we can have multiple rules per object. This is really helpful for cases if you've got account hierarchy set up. You don't want to merge your child records into your parent records. It's very powerful if you've got different account types or record types. A great example there are things where we have a lot of customers where the same contact is both a vendor and a customer. So they're separate types. So let's handle them differently. How you want to handle person accounts or not, let's handle them differently. So having multiple rules per object, Marcus uses this a lot to help separate different types of accounts. Also cross-object duplication, so merging contacts against leads or accounts against leads. This is something he's doing to help keep on top of the leads and keep ahead of a new lead being created when they're already a customer. It brings them together so the sales team is much more effective. So he wants to look at this and the other issues. Sophia had talked about formatting, so you can see the formatting issues that are being called up. The other item that she had mentioned and is the idea of misplaced data. So this is where I am looking at fields where, hey, I've got my email and my phone number. Let's move this over. Or I've got vice versa. I've got my phone number is in the website field. So he's looking at all these to see what the recommendations are and says, you know what? These recommendations are good. Sophia said that it's a solid set of recommendations. His next step is to say, well, how many of these can I actually auto merge? So he's going to look at this from a broader set. This is our duplicate grid. For Marcus, this is every duplicate we found across all the rules. They're all right here. So he's able to merge these either one at a time, several at a time by selecting them, or he can turn on the auto merge. In his case, for auto merge, he's looking at the high confidence. He's, these are really good matches. I mean, they're pretty solid. They're identical. This one, they're complete duplicates. So he's pretty happy thinking that, you know what, I think I can safely auto merge these. But the last thing he wants to check is the audit log to see, well, how many merges are being done. So he can see from here that, there's a fair bit of auto merges being done. Going into the audit log, he's able to look at these, see how frequently merges are being done. He can undo any of them that are right here. So this tells him that, yeah, you know what? The sales team is using this regularly. They are merging things regularly. I can undo this. It's finding the right merges. So he's good. So he's going to go ahead and enable auto merge to make things way easier for Sophia. He's also, from looking at the misplaced data, looking at the various formatting issues, because Sophia was, keen about standardizing things like on the addresses or on the phone numbers, and he can filter down to look for just these issues. He's again satisfied with these recommendations. He's decided that, you know what, I can automate this as well. So he implements this automation and he presents his results to Evan, the CIO. So Evan has been looking at things and he's seeing stuff like this. He's got this key project for an SMS integration that he wants to do, but he's got things where this email address is in the phone field. This is the assistant field. It's got the phone number in it, for crying out loud. So, and it's not even formatted in the way he needs it. So his concern here is, hey, Evan, Marcus, you just standardized a lot of this data. Can you help me with this project? I've got a lot of junk data. I'm looking at this big IT effort to fix this stuff and look in different fields. Can you help me out? So Marcus looks at this and says, well, actually, yeah, I can. And this is a really common pattern for us in the data issues here is he can go into the different formatting options. And in this case for phone, he can just go ahead and say, you know what, I want the E164 format, and I will standardize the phone numbers to this. So from Evan's perspective, he just went from a multi-week project to 4 seconds to have this thing put in the right format that he needs, and then he can move on with his project. So this was really, really quick fix for Marcus to do that had a massive impact for broader strategic projects. The same concept goes for training in other dimensions of standardizing other data. So Marcus was able to do this for Evan very, very quickly. Evan's happy because his project is unstuck. Marcus is happy because Evan's just given him a, hey, good job. I hear your review's coming up. This is a good sign for you. And Sophia is thrilled because she has been able to get data automatically fixed for her, and she can focus on selling instead of fixing and looking for the right data or the right entity to work with. So I have, so that's kind of the wrap up, the day in the life and some of the personas for this. The deck will have some of these screenshots and images for you to look at, but that's what I wanted to cover in the demo from the result. So thank you for that. I'm going to turn it over to Sajid to wrap it up for call to action. So Sajid.
Sure thing. So thanks everybody for joining in. I know we are trying to save time over here and make sure that everybody gets done with it in time. I know we had an allocated 1 hour and we do have questions that we need to answer. But from a call to action perspective, so feel free to reach out to your account executive, to your Heroku AE that you've been working with, and we can help you out with any of your questions and sort of concerns that you might have data with regards to data quality. Tons of questions arise, which just like in the chat as well, whether it works with the Service Cloud, what about the native activities and native sort of available checks within Salesforce, we'll cover that. But any questions that come to mind with regards to within Salesforce portfolio, extended sort of systems that are there in your environment and how we tackle this, feel free to reach out. There is this QR code that we have added as well. That would help you connect with the ActivePrime team after this webinar as well. You can always take note of our names, connect with us on LinkedIn. Like that's more than okay as well. And the webinar recording, just like we mentioned in the beginning as well, that would be sent across your way as well on this one. After this, as we transition into the Q&A, we'll take up a couple of questions that we had noted down in the chat, and we can start with those. But if anybody wants to ask the questions, the mic is open. So if you can please raise your hands, and we can monitor and manage that queue as well, while we tackle a couple of questions that were already posted in the chat for us. So please raise your hands, and then we can unmute and take those questions as well. Anything to add, Fons, on this?
Yeah, so let's just start with the questions in the chat right now. So Gordon asked, does the solution provide KPIs around how accurate is my data, and then show improvement in those KPIs as cleansing is executed? I think, Gordon, did the part where Jeff went over that overall dashboard and view, did that answer kind of your question? This is going to be a live view of kind of like a snapshot of a data quality report and assessment within your org. So as you start making adjustments, deduplications, and fixing issues, those bars are going to go down. And it's going to be identifying less issues within your org.
Yeah, that looks great. So yeah, I think like that data quality index metric is probably, and that data quality index metric is measuring all against those damaged data formatting issues and correct data buckets. Is that right?
Yeah,
Correct.
this is rolling it up across all of this. And being my demo system, we won't talk about the quality of data in my demo system. But yeah.
And would you
one
have a
thing I'd
data
like-
quality index by category, or do you know what I mean? Like, could I look at the data quality index by damaged data versus formatting issues?
This will give you, you could extrapolate that based on the number of issues we found versus the overall. And of course, with our audit log, we are able to export the audit log for more detailed analysis.
Okay.
We have some customers that will pull us out for things that were done and do some field level things. And now and then, if you need a specific export, that's something that we're willing to help you with.
Okay, all right, great,
And
thank you.
Gordon, I can add one more thing there. We didn't want to get into a demo of Heroku because we're kind of running this on the back end, but essentially the way this solution works is you will actually be able to pick the fields and objects that you want to map to the Postgres database for ActivePrime to clean. So if you think, okay, I have 3 objects that are of main concern. I have account, contact, and maybe I have like a custom object, like a person account object. This view and then the mapping is going to be based on the data that you actually sync with Heroku and your Salesforce instance. So it won't automatically pull every single object and field in Salesforce unless you want it to. But that's just something important to call out. You kind of have the power over which objects and fields and records you want to be displayed and you want to clean.
Yeah, that's great, thank you.
And so we had Natalia who asked, what is the difference with the Salesforce standard deduplicate tool, which prevents the user from creating duplicates based on the matching rules? I think we alluded to a little bit of this as we were going through the demo, but Jeff, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so in terms of the prevention when records are entered, the search before create here, it is using our smart fuzzy logic to help pull matches. Our demo shows the common fields, but any field that you want to match on in here, I can put into it. So we'll have customers that do search before create, and they'll leverage custom fields or custom values to look for. So that gives them more flexibility that way. In terms of identifying duplicates that are found, I didn't show this in the demo, but really quickly, the way that our matching rules work is based on any field that you give us. So to Alphonse's point about what fields you provide us, and it allows for our AI layered matching. So in this case, for Billing City, St. Louis and St. Louis would match because we know what a city is. CA in California will match from a state perspective. So that's the advantage over the native dedupe, is you can control this with any field, segment the data, as I mentioned. And then finally, when it comes to merging, you probably noticed it in the demo, but in the duplicate grid itself, there are duplicate sets that have several duplicates in them. We handle all the conversation back and forth to merge all of these in one set as opposed to a few at a time. That's just a really high level rundown. Does that answer the question for you?
We'll take that as a yes.
Wonderful.
Jeff, can you also cover for a moment that the workload is distributed with the detail page information as well?
Yeah, and that's so we did show that in here. That was this tab in here where for the individual users that are able to do the if you give them access to it, can look at and merge the duplicates here as well as solve data issues. This is done on the detail page for that individual user. So, and this is just a page layout component, very easy for you to control and provide access to it. So it means that the data stream, like poor Marcus here, who was asked to solve all these problems, he is not the only one having to solve things or his small team. This is something that the individual sales user can also, or anyone else in Salesforce can solve as well.
Jeff, I have a question that a lot of my customers have asked a lot. Like, I think one thing that's pretty common is like everyone has a ton of projects that they're working on, and there's always concern about bringing more tooling and more complexity into their ecosystem and their daily activities. Can you talk a little bit about the level of effort for implementation and the services that ActivePrime provides as part of the licensing?
Yeah, sure. So as part of the implementation process, I think our average is, 6 days or so to get things going. In terms of seeing value, a lot of it depends on how much we work with the customers, but we're 30 to 60 days easily, because we walk you through the whole thing. So you get your welcome email and we say, all right, let's set up, and walk you through every click to get things set up and installed. We will help you build the first rules by understanding your data. And probably most importantly for you out of all of that is, and I see this all the time, because people will say, oh, I think a duplicate is this. And they'll look at the results and go, not what I wanted. That rule doesn't make sense to me. Hey, ActivePrime, help me interpret what I'm seeing. So we'll work with you to adjust and tweak and get the rules dialed in, and then determine if automation is possible or not. We'll talk about your architecture to understand the impact overall of automation and upstream and downstream systems. So we're looking at, getting actual duplicates and other rules run very quickly, and then some real great personalized tailored results within that 30 to 60 day period easily.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
There were a couple of questions from Christy on this one. I think I know the answers, but Jeff, I'll probably sort of read them over for you. So
Sure.
One of the questions was, can you include filters with multiple criteria and logic?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
So go ahead.
Yeah.
You can elaborate, and then I can ask the second question. So go ahead.
Yeah, in two ways, and I see this a lot. First is segmentation. How do I want to break up the data? A really common pattern I see here is, hey, I only want to look at records of a certain type that came, that have a, I'm going to pick on, owner ID would never be blank, but that has this integration value. So I'm going to say, is null. I did ID, but it's not created by this person, or it's this value is not empty. So if I've got an integration going on, but then in the criteria, I can add my OR conditions here. I'll just pick a random one. This is how I do my OR conditions. We run it in order. What this really means to you is you could slice and dice different things in terms of what is the highest rule for a duplicate, different conditions. And then the same thing applies to what is a survivor by default. So, and that's a common pattern as well. I want the newest record that was sourced from this other system and is of this type. We can do that.
Perfect. And the other question that she had asked was, her comment was, so in scenarios where you are uploading new records, this functionality does not block before save. It seems to function only after uploading records in a batch. Is that correct?
Fantastic question. So our search before create in particular, that is calling your existing Salesforce screen, which means that when you hit save, all of your triggers will get fired from that. So it's not going to interfere with that before save, because as far as Salesforce is concerned, I just went through the detail screen. We very intentionally built it where we did so that it wouldn't impact all of your automations, right? Conversely, when a new record comes in through any other sort of source, an import or an API or a web call from a web form, whatever it is, we'll pick that up after it's been created, specifically so that we don't interfere with anything you've got going.
And then if you have automation enabled, as you get towards higher confidence if duplicates are created, ActivePrime is going to fix that before anyone would probably even notice, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing a batch import process, either from your ERP, if you're using a data enrichment tool like ZoomInfo or Apollo or Clay, or I think there's a million of them now.
Yeah.
The data is actually going to come in to Salesforce, but with automation turned on, the data will be fixed before the users would probably even notice there are duplicates in the system.
And Jeff, you might just want to show the search before create the black versus worn, because that may help illuminate some of this point.
Yeah, so in this case, it's fully blocked. But if I make something that's different, I still have possible duplicates, and so it's warning me. And if I create it anyway, again, this is the standard Salesforce screen. So once I hit save here, your before save trigger will still fire. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
Okay, so I guess I also wanted to ask, when you do batch uploads, we do a typical vetting, which is you want to see if other teams have this person, but to also know which ones fail, have a report that says this wasn't uploaded because it's owned by some other team. Just wondered if that kind of a step exists. A report. Does that make sense?
No, I don't think I quite follow.
Say they buy a list and they want to upload it. You want to know if another team already owns that and not add it to the Salesforce org. So we
okay. I
know
think I understand.
who owned it so that we know, and then communicate it only to the people that need to know. See what I'm saying?
I think so. We do have something called clean import, where we can upload from CSV. You can choose a CSV to upload it to and compare it to a particular report. And that would help you identify possible duplicates before a record is imported. But you're talking about ownership and so on, and I'm not sure this is answering what you're actually asking. I'm happy to have a more detailed conversation with you to make sure I understand your use case. If that's okay. I'm not sure I'm answering your question.
No, this helps.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Yep.
We had one from David. I think, David, we went over this very briefly, but would be maybe beneficial for Jeff to show you in a little bit more detail. Is there a rollback feature, parent-child accounts that were never connected and they get merged? This will go back to Jeff's audit log.
Yeah.
So what the audit log essentially does, and Jeff, sorry for stealing your thunder here, it's going to check your recycle bin first. And the recycle bin will maintain the same SFIDs, and then you can undo anything if it was a merge you didn't want to do, or if there was any type of fix for any other type of the data quality issues, you can undo those. I think the cool thing about ActivePrime and a big differentiator is because the data exists in Heroku Postgres, it can actually live beyond the Salesforce recycle bin. So if it's past 30 days and you need to make a change, ActivePrime will be able to do that. So big differentiator for us for maybe some of the desktop tools or other tools that you've looked at before.
That was well said, Alphonse. This is one of Alphonse's favorite features, so he likes to talk about it. Yeah, so David, did that answer your question? Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
I have a quick question on the accounts page. When you create a new account.
Yep.
I was, I'm a new Salesforce admin, so I was messing around my organization's account page, and I set my organization's account page to dynamic forms.
Yep.
Is there a way I can undo that change without getting a developer involved?
I don't know about the dynamic forms, but for how we do it with our search before create, we tie a custom action to the new button. So that shouldn't impact what you've done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh, and the other thing that is probably important, this new action you see that I'm forgetting what this feature is called in Salesforce, but where you select the record type, that still works. So it still triggers that new. So if your dynamic forms before this part, that'll still trigger just fine.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. No problem.
Well, I think there was one more question. Will in the chat that we didn't get to? Will the recording be shared? Yes. You will receive an email with the call recording. It also, if you want to have some more one-on-one time, get into more detail, please reach out to your Salesforce account executive or account director. You can reach out to ActivePrime directly too. You could reach out to Heroku as well. As you know, there's a bunch of people you can always reach out to at Salesforce, but we will be getting a recording out and a transcript. We encourage you to share that with your teams. And we might even have another webinar down the line.
Just another quick topical question. Will all y'all be at Dreamforce in San Francisco? Sweet. Cool. I look forward to networking with y'all there.
Likewise.
Some of us are still trying to get approvals, but we're hoping for a positive result.
Understood. Yep.
Perfect. 5 minutes to go. So just one last round of check. Anybody have any other questions before we wrap it up for the day? You can unmute your mic, you can raise your hand, drop in the chat. So if not, I think we're done, Jeff. So we're good to wrap it up for now. So thank you so much, everybody, for taking out time. I know it's difficult to take out 1 complete hour during the lunch hours, at least in the Eastern time zone. So thank you so much. Again, you've got a bunch of people to reach out to, and would really be glad to have these conversations going forward. As one of my EE says, is like this is pretty much a prereq to any transformative or agentic project that you're undertaking. Data quality is a prereq to that. So just take that and please reach out to us. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking out time today. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
I know.
Cheers.